Hello, friends. Welcome. Welcome to part two of Laura's story of crisis. Now, friends, in this, we would look at the most important element we often miss when we go through a difficult time, hardship, or personal crisis. And taking Laura as an example, as we have seen in our previous session, how through a simple tool we were able to help Laura find clarity and understand which area of her life was most impacted. In our session today, we will help Laura find her values. So before we get there, let's first understand what really value is. Values are things we consider important to be in our life, things that matter to us the most. And most of us actually also do not know that values are basically something we are driven by. It's values basis on which we take or make a decision. It's values basis on which we choose the most important things. And when we are living a life which is out of sync of our values, is when we find ourselves equally irritated, frustrated, depressed, sad, and all sorts of complex emotions. In case of Laura, even though she was suffering for past 3 years, as you have seen in our previous session, since she was suffering and she had no idea what she needs to do next, one of the main things that was missing in her life was the values. She didn't really was aware what really was important to her. And Laura is not just the first case. Most of us, I include myself in it, when I did this work with my coach, we are not aware of what really is important to us. We know it, but specifically with a label, with a title, we just don't know anything about it. We are driven by it. That's the beauty of it. We are driven by it, but still we are unaware. And today, through this session, I would like to help you the way I had assisted Laura to find what's really is very, very important to you in your life. Values are questions to, these are actually answers to the questions like these. What's important to you in life? What's your life purpose? What do you enjoy doing? And when do you really feel satisfied and fulfilled? So these are not journal prompts, but deep reflective questions. We will, or we may be able to answer it, but before that, let's learn and do the work. So again, pause this video here, grab your book if you have been doing this work along with me since the first session. If not, find yourself a book and a pen. I always insist doing it with your hand because there's a neuroscience too. When we use our hand, our motor movements, which are deeply connected to our limbic system in our mind, which will help you find more clarity. So instead of doing it on your system, I suggest please use a pen and a paper. And if you've been doing it beforehand, like in our previous session, you could use the same book. And let's get going. So here, what we need to do is pull up our wheel of life, the way we've done this for Laura in our previous session, and figure out which area in her life, in Laura's life, she was missing out on those domains where there was a gap. If you remember the last few questions she answered. So let's pull out, excuse me, this is Laura's wheel of life. If you are watching this video right now for the first time, I request you to go back in the sequence and watch the first video where we had worked on this particular wheel. So in this session, we've already found that partner and love and fun and recreation was something that Laura was having a low score on. Moving ahead, keeping this here, we will now look at These are the value of list. Now, what is important to us in life? I am sharing this list with you to help you, but feel free to add your own. There's no hard and fast rule. This example here, this list is just to help you understand what exactly are values. So these are terms. You feel free to use your own. And what we are going to do next is taking these two areas of Laura's life, we will then figure out the 5 values from the list related to these two areas that she had scored a low score on. You could do the same. Go back, pause this video, check your wheel of life. Where exactly and which area is it that you have given or found yourself on a low score? Once you find that, go to this value list and pick the top 5 values from it and list it down it here. You could use this template and list down your top 5 values. Now, in this, you see here that Laura's life domain, partner and love, had a low score. Excuse me. And the other one was fun and recreation, which also had a low score. So from the value list, we pulled out and we spoke at length. I gave Laura some time and we found that the value, something that really mattered to her the most, was loyalty, commitment, and spirituality. Under fun and recreation, what she valued, what was really important to her, where she scored a low in this life domain, was being engaged and creative. Now, friends, do not get confused. The value list is not a final list. You can add your own. So in case of Laura, her partner in love, where her score was very low because she was betrayed in her relationship. When I asked her to pick up those values, what really is important to you in a relationship, she said loyalty, commitment, and spirituality. So whatever area of your life you find yourself having a low score, against that, the value is what is important to you in that particular domain. So in case of Laura, it was loyalty, commitment, and spirituality. Perhaps her partner did not share similar values, and the reason why she got separated. You could use this example and pick your own values. What's really is important to you in the life domain where you have given yourself a low score. And you have to now pick up 5 values. In case of Laura, because since we have only 2 domains, I have given her these 5. You could use your own list and come up with your values. Once you've identified these values, now you need to understand what exactly you need to change here. You can ask yourself the following questions. What exactly do I want to change in the life domain that needs the most attention? Like partner and love, loyalty, commitment, spirituality. When I asked Laura this question, her answer was going forward, when she will be on a search for a new relationship, this is the 3 things, these 3 values that she would look for before she commit to it. So this is how values help you find or make that decision. Find really what's important. Laura has been aware of it, but since she never was very specific to the values that really matter to her, the reason why she stayed stuck in her life for 3 long years, suffering and not really being able to find the partner which resonates with her values. So the moment she realized this is very important to her decision making, the filter through which she would uh, kind of move ahead with a partner became very, very clear. This is a very powerful tool, friends. There are more deep dive sessions that we could do in this. What I'm sharing with you here is the first step to know what's really important to you. So, having found the domain where she was having a low score, and then understanding the values within that domain what really is important to her. Laura was able to find that this is which was missing. Then, are there any values that you believe you're not sufficiently living in line with? And this was applied here because she said fun and recreation was on a low score. If you remember her Wheel of Life, she was not really living it sufficiently because she never pursued any creative hobbies, even though she was very good with arts. And when we did this value exercise, only when she got this insight that creativity was important to her. It could be something else for you or me or any one of us because our values, like our life, keep changing. And so just take this as an example and think about those areas in your life where there's a gap and what's really is important in there and why are you not in sync with it. What actions do you think finally you need to take to live more in line with your values? When you sit back and reflect on these questions, you will have a deeper insight. Questions are very powerful, so are values. And the more we know, the more we are able to connect, the more we are able to identify and align them to our life domains, is when we know, are we really living our lives in sync with our values? Or what is the real cause of our frustrations? Sometimes we're living a life where subconsciously we are aware this is important to us, but in reality, we are not living it. That's exactly was the case of Laura. So if you're also living a life like this, use this exercise and find your values. Find what's really important to you, which is another step in finding your way out of a crisis. Usually, as a coach, when I was not just Laura, any of my clients, here's after doing these two things is where we get to the goal part. So in case of Laura, these were the domains, and I gave her time to think through and come up with a goal. What is it that she may want to do now that she's well aware of what's really important to her? And an answer to how will she now design her life? What is it that she wants to do? And these were the two goals she came up with. So use this template, use this example, and come up with your own goal, your life goal that you want to arrive at. Thank you. One last thing before I leave. This is a this is usually a space I give my clients since we work virtually online and we connect on a Zoom call or a Google Meet. While I'm doing this with you and you're watching this video, I would want you to, I call this the reflection hour. So having done this exercise, and if you're doing it from the sequence, the first one, the Wheel of Life, and now the values, I would just request you, give yourself some time, maybe 5-10 minutes, pause, and all that work you've done so far. Think what it brings out in you. What insights are you getting about yourself? And if you need help, I'm going to share my coordinates. You could connect with me. Thank you.